So joining us now is News4JAX political analyst Jennifer Carroll. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
We were just talking. Talk about the gloves coming off.
Absolutely.
In fact, at one point during the debate last night, CNN's Wolf Blitzer had to kind of break it up a little bit and say, hey, listen, if you're both talking and arguing at the same time, the viewers cannot hear you. This is a real change that we have certainly seen. Up until now, they've really been taking on the Republicans and their rivals on the other side. Are you surprised by this change?
Well, I'm not surprised because there's a lot at stake with New York. Bernie Sanders is from New York. He's not a transplant like Hillary Clinton is, and he's trying to stake his claim in New York. And what his people are trying to do is make it almost neck and neck to go to the convention in a contested way, because he's feeling that he'll be able to woo some of those their elected delegates over to him, because they're not really bound like they are with some of those delegates in the Republican side.
So let's take a look at the latest poll, because it's interesting. I want to look at the delegate count here, which Ethan alluded to in just a second. But this shows, and what you're seeing here, if you haven't been following it as closely as we have, Hillary Clinton at 57% over Sanders at 40%. So she has increased her support some by about 17 points now. It's up by, I think, about 14 with the last poll. She has, though, been dogged by this transparency issue. We heard it certainly alluded to in the story that we just brought in terms of the speeches that she was paid for, the transcripts on that. We've also heard, of course, about the emails when she was Secretary of State. Is that going to dog her here? Is that going to come back now and really bite her when it comes to New York voters, you think?
Well, not with New York voters, but going forward, you can hear from the response of the audience. They were very taken by Bernie taking her on her judgment issue and her flip-flopping, because she's been an elected senator. So she has a record that he can point to. You said this, now you support that. Now look at the $15 minimum wage that she didn't support before. Now she's saying in her debate last night, I support those who are supporting the $15 an hour minimum wage. And he's like, that's news to me. He didn't say that before. But what Bernie Sanders is probably going to have a problem with in New York is that most of the people that are behind him now, particularly the young people under 30, they're probably not ready to vote, because they were supposed to vote, register to vote since last October. And if they're now understanding and learning about Bernie Sanders and are excited about him, they probably weren't registered to vote for this primary.
Yeah, to meet the deadline then.
Correct.
You know, it's interesting, too. We've seen Bernie Sanders, I think it's 6 of the last 17 contests that he has won. There's a real momentum here.
Yes.
You know, is he going to be able to carry that? Because he doesn't have to win. It's not a winner-take-all state. Even if he gets pretty close, is that enough for him to really change the course of this going into the, going into over the next couple of months?
It probably would be, because some of her supporters may get very nervous that she may not have the momentum and the stamina to make it through, particularly with Bernie Sanders exposing her flip-flop. That will give the Republicans a argument against her in debates to say, well, these are the things that came about in the Democrat primary, and you haven't answered those questions. Several times last night, Bernie Sanders challenged her on that. You did not answer the question. She kept wrapping herself with Barack Obama, but whatever the excuses are, Barack Obama did it, so therefore it's okay with me.
Very quickly, let's look at the delegate count as it stands right now. 1,768 over 1,069. Clinton over Sanders. Is there enough here? I mean, we have heard Sanders has to win big over the next several months to even catch that. Do you think that's going to happen, considering the states that are coming up next with their primaries?
Well, California would be a huge one, and particularly if he can chip away at her numbers in New York, it gives her big problems moving forward. Again, the money people and folks that want to win, they want to beat the Republicans, and they would factor, well, Bernie Sanders will have the better chance. But he's giving the Democrat National Committee fits, because they don't want this self-described socialist that's probably not a Democrat that Hillary Clinton is trying to put out there, that he's not voted with Democrats before, he's not supported Democrat candidates, so therefore he's not a real Democrat.
Well, conventions are panicking right now, without a doubt.
Yes,
Jennifer
indeed.
Carroll, our political analyst, thank you for getting up with us this morning. To appreciate it.